right, everybody, and welcome to the Hamilton Watch channel. Yeah, that's what I could call it because I'm doing so many Hamilton videos lately. I don't know, I've got two of them and I feel like I wanted to investigate them pretty good, and so that's why I've got another one for you today. But first things first, on my wrist is the Laurier Gemini. If you guys watched my unboxing video of it, you know how excited I was, and I am enjoying wearing it so far. And here is today's watch. This is the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. You've got a 38mm case, a thickness of 9.5mm. It is 12 millimeters thick with that NATO strap on it. 47 mil lug-to-lug, drilled lug holes there. 20 mil lug width. And it is supplied with a NATO strap. I actually haven't seen a NATO strap like this, and we'll take a look at it in just a minute. And something pretty interesting on Hamilton's website. They felt the need to tell us that this was used in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and worn by James Marsden. I don't know if that's a selling point or not. So the case is all 316L stainless steel. It is sandblasted or bead blasted, so you're going to get no kind of reflections off that at all, which is pretty good in a military styled watch. It is just a push-pull crown today, and the crown is signed rather nicely with that retro Hamilton logo. And this watch is hand wind. And I'm going to wind it in a minute, but I want to talk with you guys a little bit about the winding process with this particular watch. It's powered by the Hamilton H50 movement. The previous generation of this, which I guess was only a year's time in between these two movements, was a 2801-2, and that had a 42-hour power reserve. This H50 beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it does have an 80-hour power reserve. And once this watch is fully wound, I can attest it is a full 80 hours. So that's good. I know with the Khaki automatic, you're going to have to really be wearing that thing constantly to get that full 80-hour power reserve. So it's pretty difficult to wind that one fully. But with this one, you get it. And zooming in on the dial through that domed sapphire crystal, which apparently doesn't have any anti-reflective coating because you can see me in it. So, I don't know. Again, kind of a little bit of a disappointing thing there. But I believe this is a little bit better in the anti-reflective coating than, say, the Khaki automatic. But you look at the dial, and it is reminiscent of all those field watches from so many years ago. Beautiful syringe-style hands, an arrowhead second hand. You've got Arabic numerals 1 through 12, and below that is 1 through 24 in Arabic numerals. The Hamilton logo just below the 12, and then Swiss made down at the bottom. The markers, the loomed part of the markers, have been faux patinaed, and you guys know I hate faux patina because I don't think anybody does it right. This is all right. This is not very distracting at all. It's just a light, pale kind of tan. It's not overdone. It's not too dark. It actually looks pretty good. And there's a look at that case back. Look at that beautiful Hamilton H logo, very retro style up at the top. Swiss made, engraved very nicely. At the bottom, water resist 5 bar. So this is only a 50-meter water resistant watch. So this is not something you're probably going to want to go swimming with, although I've heard people do that. I don't know. Too risky for me with a push-pull crown. I probably won't do it unless it's an extremely cheap watch or it has a screw-down crown. But this does have a screw-down case back. And so the supplied NATO strap today, it's a little bit above your standard crappy NATO that I know Seiko supplies with some of their watches now. It is a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's quite seatbelt weave, but it is a better quality than your run-of-the-mill crappy NATO. It has leather keepers, which is interesting. It's an interesting choice. Neither one of them float. Really beautiful buckle. I believe this is the same buckle that's going to be on their leather straps. Very substantial, beautiful Hamilton logo etched into it. One thing of note that's different from NATO straps is a couple of things. The first thing is the buckle holes have leather only on one side, so that's going to help with fraying. So you're not going to get, I think probably because it's not on both sides and this isn't leather, and I think you probably will still get a little fraying, especially on the underside. But it's definitely going to hold off for a while. And you have probably the most common fraying part of a NATO is the end there, and that has been stitched up with leather, so that's pretty good. All in all, I'm not a huge fan of this particular NATO strap. It's comfortable, it wears nice. I don't know. Mine has been living on this, I guess, elastic parachute style strap that came with my mill sub homage that I had in a couple of videos ago. But when that came in, I didn't realize, couldn't figure out how to work this because it's not like a traditional one that you would get from like Erica's Originals or anything. I don't think it is, but it is loomed, which is cool. But that's where this lives because this, I just drop it. That's nice. Cute. Oh, I just cracked me glass. I didn't. Gosh, if that ever happens, that would really suck. No, but it's very, very comfortable on this strap. That's where mine lives. I haven't really worn it on the NATO, but I will for the purposes of this video so you guys can see what it looks like on my wrist. And there it is out in the natural wonders of the world on my 7¼ inch wrist. I think it's 7¼ I just keep getting fatter. I'm not sure. But anyway, it wears very comfortably. You'll notice that the leather end of the NATO strap, there's not enough slack on my particular wrist to fold over. But I think it's okay because it fits in that last keeper nicely. So no big deal there. Now let's check out the loom. Well, this loom is a million times better than the Hamilton Khaki Automatic by a mile. It's really, really good. I wouldn't say, like, if I put this up against the ISL 40 from LongIslandWatch.com, it's not quite that good, but it's very good. It holds its own. It's well above what Hamilton usually does. So I really like the loom. I think it was a really good choice and a great asset to this watch. Before I get to what I like and what I don't like about this watch, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I've just got to go over this a little bit. Okay, so there's been a lot of reports online, not a lot, but a handful of reports online of this movement breaking, that guys are winding it and then they get to the end or something happens and the mainspring ends up breaking. And then the watch will just infinitely wind and but it won't, you're not getting any tension and the watch is broken, basically, is what happened. Now, what I see guys do a lot of the time, especially on unboxing videos, is I see them just going like balls to the wall, like winding, like as fast as they possibly can. And one thing I've noticed with this particular movement, and let me get it started with a gentle wind, just takes, probably 7 or 8 winds and you are cooking with gas, but you want to wind your watches very, very gently. There's no reason to go, yeah. I don't get that. This is a delicate instrument. You need to treat it like you're brushing the hair of a Shetland pony or something, just something very delicate, And what I've noticed about this movement is it does wind for quite a long time. And it stops abruptly, very abruptly. And I think if you're going, balls to the wall and you're just winding, and you hit that stopping point, I could see that mainspring snapping. I really, really could. I go very slow. Yes, it takes a while, but it saves wear and tear on the movement. And people will argue me like, well, these are tool watches, they're used to it. That's how you're supposed to do it. Well, okay, good for you. I'm not taking the risk, but, and I'm not saying that's what caused this, this to break at all, but, it certainly didn't help, or it couldn't help if that happened. So, again, this movement, relatively new, only about a couple years old. So, they're going to have to really kind of test it over time to see if it's a long-term problem. For me, I guess we'll know. I know one guy's broke within a month of having it, so we'll see, what happens. I don't know. Hopefully, it keeps going, but I really, really like the hand wind aspect of it. And I like the 80-hour power reserve. I've been winding it up. I wound it up on a Sunday at 5:30 p.m. and it lasted until about 5:30 a.m. on Thursday. So long power reserve. Lots of winds to wind this up. Usually with hand wind watches, you'll start to feel some tension. And that's when you're kind of going to know that it's about to stop. With this one, it's hard for me to tell. It may just be me. It's hard for me to tell when it's done, so I don't want to wind it too hard. And because I've been winding this whole time I've been talking, so it takes that long to wind. And you see it does pop back, a little bit when you're winding. But yeah, wind it up full. And so there it was. I know my camera went out of focus a little bit, but it was just an abrupt stop, just very abruptly. It was, and there was no kind of play or anything like that at all. I got to refocus my camera in just a second. But yeah, so don't do it. Balls to the wall. Let's not do it. This one takes a long time to wind because you're getting 80 hours of power reserve and you would hate to break it. Okay, I don't know what in the world is going on with my camera, but anywho, what do I like about this watch? Well, I love that it's military style, great vintage, lots of heritage. I like the texture on the bead blasted case, even though I'm not a huge fan of the bead blasting. I'll get to that in just a second. I love the thinness on the parachute style strap I wear. It's super, super thin. Drilled lug holes, always nice. Yeah, really, really good. Hand wind, always really cool. I just think it looks amazing. Love the loom. Perfect loom. Really, really good. The size of 38 millimeters is fantastic. Love it, love it. So what do I not like about this watch? Well, like I said, I like the texture of the bead blasting, but I don't like the fact that it's bead blasted. I would have preferred brushed. I like to put bracelets on my watches, and even though Hamilton does offer this on a bracelet on their website, and you can buy the bracelet separate from them, supposedly, if you contact customer service, it's also like a sandblasted, bead blasted bracelet, and I'm just not really into it, because, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather have just a regular old brushed, I think would be good. More versatile. You can find an aftermarket bracelet for it, and it would work. I'm not a fan of the NATO. I don't know. It's okay. It's pretty good. But at this price, I don't see why companies put their watches on a NATO. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a cop-out. I mean, if you're saying it's keeping costs down, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, it just, I would really like some sort of bracelet or something like that, or maybe a nice leather strap, although Hamilton's leather straps, kind of iffy. I'm not really super keen on those, but, just, I don't know, this NATO, it's okay. It's not the best one I've seen. It's not the worst, so I guess it's okay, but a little bit disappointing from a Swiss-made company. This watch screams, man, like, if you're going to put this watch on, you're going to go do some men stuff, like fishing or hunting or shooting or something, something mannish. It's kind of like the Seiko Arnie. Like, you're going to put the Arnie on. Like, I had the Arnie on when I was, mowing the lawn and this morning and weed eating and stuff like that. That's a real men's stuff, So this is a very masculine watch, even though it, the size would not agree with that. But I don't know. I think it's really, really good. It's nice. There's a slight elegance to it. I see why people love this. I see why people get it. I've certainly connected with it. I wear it quite often now, and I just love it. And yeah, guys, tell me what you think in the comments. It's starting to become a legendary watch, even though it's relatively new. So let me know what you think. If you've got one, what you think. If you like it. If you don't like it, I think it's great. So I will see you next time.